We are gathered here again to lay to rest one of our veterans of the armed liberation struggle, a decorated senior officer of the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, a husband, a father, a son, a brother, a comrade, our national hero, and a true patriot of Zimbabwe, Major General retired ZIMBABWE, whose Chimrenga name was Yengani Dlodlo. He passed on last week here in Harare on Monday, 13th June 2022. On behalf of the Revolutionary Party, ZANU-PF, government, and the people of Zimbabwe, and indeed on my own behalf, I wish to express my profound condolences to the bereaved Bebe family for their sad loss. May you all find solace in that the whole nation shares in your grief and mourns with you. Our gathering here yet again is testimony that our nation is fast losing cadres from a generation of freedom fighters who gallantly fought in our armed liberation struggle during the Second Chimrenga. The past 4 weeks have seen a dark cloud hovering over the nation of Zimbabwe as we have lost 3 decorated general officers of the Defense Forces. In Major General retired ZIMBABWE, the nation has lost another dedicated revolutionary cadre who committed his life to saving Zimbabwe and remained focused and steadfast in the face of neo-colonial machinations by our country's detractors. He saved his country with unflinching loyalty, always guided by the national interest and a selfless patriotism. The late Major General Bebe was a humble, honest, reserved, and unassuming man, yet an astute, fearless, and reliable military officer. He consistently and persistently fought for his country before and after independence, rising to the rank of Major General in the Zimbabwe Defense Forces. My dear fellow mourners, the late Major General was born on 30 December 1960 to Reverend Lika Mukua Bebe and Mrs. Wongani Bebe in Mberengwa district, under Chief Mtevaidze in the Midlands province. He did primary education in his home area and secondary education at Masase Secondary School from 1974 to 1977. Riled by the racist and brutal Rhodesian system that condemned Africans to second-class citizens in their own country, The late Major General, like many of his contemporaries, abandoned his studies and left to join the liberation struggle in Zambia via Botswana. It is most disheartening to hear some of our misinformed and misguided young people peddling the grossly false narrative that life under Ian Smith was better than that under independence. Foolish young people. The onus is on the older generation to constantly explain to the youth of our country that Ian Smith and those present-day counter-revolutionaries with similar inclinations personify the plunder and the pillage of our motherland. These groups of unrepentant supremacists seek to make Zimbabwe a country where Africans ourselves are disenfranchised and turned into puppets for their elitist economic benefits. This will never happen. Such colonial-inspired capitalistic domination, under whatever guise, will never be accepted in Zimbabwe under the Revolutionary Party, ZANU-PF. Lest we forget the total independence, total freedom, democracy and sovereignty we are enjoying as Zimbabwe will never be sacrificed for any social, political, or economic expediency. This is what the national hero we are laying to rest and other thousands of veterans of our liberation struggle fought for: our democracy, our freedom. The racist excesses of the Rhodesian white settler regime were unbearable and fraught with the constant threat of death. It took strong-willed cadres in the mold of our national hero, Major General ZIMBABWE, to endure the arduous journey that finally brought about our independence and freedom. Us who remain, young and old alike, have a sacred responsibility to jealously guard and defend our motherland, Zimbabwe. Not only in honor of the departed sons and daughters of the soil, but also as a sacrosanct obligation to the generations that will come after us. My fellow mourners, on arrival in Zambia, the late Comrade Yangani Dlolo, ZIMBABWE, stayed briefly at Nampundwe Transit Camp until December 1977, when their group became the second to be flown to Angola for initial military training. The group trained at the Boma training camp under Brigadier General retired Nleya. Owing to his astuteness, mastery of military concepts, dedication to duty and discipline, his Cuban and Soviet specialist trainers selected our late national hero to become one of the instructors at the same training camp. Thereafter, he undertook further military training in semi-conventional and conventional warfare with the tutorship of Soviet training instructors. During this time, the racist Rhodesian and South African soldiers bombed Boma training camp, resulting in the death of 190 cadres, boys and girls, and injuries to over 500 cadres. The late Major General ZIMBABWE was one of those that sustained serious injuries. He was evacuated to Luena and later transferred to Lusaka for further medical assistance due to the severity of his injuries. On discharge from hospital, he was taken to a recuperation center that was located near the Atlantic coast in Angola, also housing other injured freedom fighters from the region, including SWAPO cadres. Upon his full recovery, the late departed Major General remained unwavering in his conviction to fight for the liberation and independence of his country. He thus returned to Boma training camp, where he resumed duties as commissar and instructor for the training units. He was part of the group of instructors that accompanied 1,800 trained fighters to Zambia on their way to the front. On return from the assignment back to Zambia, he was deployed to Malanje camp, which comprised of other trainees from Umkhonto Wesizwe, the armed wing of the African National Congress, the ANC of South Africa, where he trained more recruits. At independence, the late general officer was attested into the Zimbabwe National Army on 1st April 1980. He had a distinguished and illustrious career in the Zimbabwe Defense Forces, serving in various general duty command appointments in administration and as a defense attaché in Ethiopia, Addis Ababa. Due to his selfless sacrifices, loyalty, patriotism, and associated achievements, our late national hero was awarded the Liberation Medal, Independence Medal, 10 years service medal, long and exemplary service medal, the Mozambican campaign medal, Democratic Republic of the Congo DRC campaign medal, and the Grand Officer of the Zimbabwe Order of Merit Award. My fellow Zimbabweans and mourners, the independence and freedom we enjoy today came from the personal and the collective sacrifices made by our brave sons and daughters of our beloved motherland, Zimbabwe. The remains of some of our Liberation War heroes continue to lie in unmarked graves across the region. Such was the brutality of the colonial regime. We must never take the constitutionalism, democracy, independence, and the right to chart our own destiny for granted. These rights were paid for by the sacred blood of our fellow brothers and sisters, mothers and fathers, and many, many comrades, many of whom never lived to see a free Zimbabwe. As the nation continues to inter the cream of cadres that fought for our independence, it is imperative that our scholars and that academics prioritize recording and publishing the life experiences of this crop of brave freedom fighters to enrich our written liberation war heritage for future generations. This history cannot be left to the authorship of those who seek to belittle our struggle and achievements. Efforts by various stakeholders, including the Museum of African Liberation, must be scaled up and accelerated towards documenting, archiving, and exhibiting the true story of our armed liberation struggle. Meanwhile, it is regrettable that Zimbabwe continues to attract unwarranted interest from our former colonizers, who, together with their supremacist proxies, mistakenly think that we are provinces of their countries. Never, never, never. These meddlesome countries and their lobbyists, under various guises, preach democracy and good governance by the day, whilst sponsoring and instigating nefarious activities, sponsoring violence and instability in our country by night. This is part of their long-held brute strategies to reverse the gains we have made in consummating our independence, our self-determination, our sovereignty, economic empowerment, and the total freedom of our people, which is now embodied in our country's development philosophy. Nyika inovakwa, igotongwa, nevene vayo. Nyika inovakwa, igotongwa, nevene vayo. Ilizwe liyakwa, libuswe ngabanikazi. Ilizwe liyakwa, libuswe ngabanikazi. Vanhu vatema ndove nevenyika. The levels and intensity of falsehoods being peddled by some opposition political outfits to whip their supporters into gorges of violence, hate, and disharmony is now extremely worrisome. And my administration will not stand by and watch this growing. Zimbabwe is a peaceful country, and this culture is alien to our society under the Second Republic. The law will take effect, and its application will be without fear or favor. No one is above the law. I thus call upon our communities throughout the country to be vigilant against these destabilizing, hateful political parties. Keep your eyes and your ears wide open. Do not allow outsiders from your communities to come and disturb the peace and harmony in your areas. Violence has no place in the Zimbabwe we are building. We want peace. We want peace. We want harmony and love. Equally, let us as a people shun all forms of self-hate, as well as the peddling of falsehoods and misinformation. Together, we must entrench the values of love, the values of honesty, the values of hard, honest work, and patriotism as we continue on the journey to guarantee our national development and prosperity for all our people, no matter where they live. What happened recently in the Nyatsime township of Chitungwiza is deplorable and should never be repeated. The nation is now familiar with these shenanigans and incidences of staged violence, which are designed to tarnish the image of the Republic of Zimbabwe, especially ahead of major international meetings. This time around, the destabilizing and violent theatrics by opposition elements are being done ahead of the CHOGM, the Commonwealth meeting in Rwanda. Shame on you. If you are a leader of a political party which thrives on violence and the insecurity of our people, then you are not relevant. Shame, shame, shame on you. The life and property of every Zimbabwean is critically important and will be protected by my government. Our security architecture are on alert. We will not stand by and watch the good image of our nation, as well as the safety and security of our people, being desecrated by rogue pseudo-politicians who receive dirty money to torment their own African kith and kin. I call upon the nation at large, across all provinces, districts, and wards, to refuse to be used by self-seeking chatterlings masquerading as politicians. Rambai kushandiswa kutumike violence. Parents and guardians, please guide your youth accordingly. Violence does not pay. You end up in Shukuru. As we head towards the 2023 harmonized general elections, let us entrench the democracy, good governance and constitutionalism prevailing in our country and never abuse it. Our political contestations must never degenerate into violence. No. Let us honor the departed heroes and the heroines who selflessly fought for our beloved country by maintaining peace, unity, love, and harmony. Finally, my dear mourners, to the late Major General retired student baby, I say, go well, son of the soil. Go well, Comrade Yangani Jojo. You fought with other comrades and brought independence and freedom to our nation. You played your part and played it well with distinction. We shall remain forever grateful Rest in eternal peace, our national hero. Siyakubonga, hamba kahle qawe lamaqhawe, lala ngokuthula. Famba zvakanaka, gamba ramagamba, zorora murugare. Those of us that remain will continue the fight for a united, peaceful, and prosperous Zimbabwe. Ngiyabonga, tinotenda. God bless you all. God bless Zimbabwe. I thank you.